Hi everybody, I hope you're doing wonderfully. Today we're actually going to be talking about editing marks, also known as proofreading marks. Maybe you've seen these before. We're going to be looking at a selection of them. First, I want you to know what the purpose of these marks are, which is to identify errors in a text for correction. So basically, let's say your teacher is correcting your essay and they notice that there is a spelling mistake. So instead of writing there is a spelling mistake, there is a specific code that teachers can use to write that in much less words. Okay, so basically those codes is what we're going to learn. I gave the example of a teacher, but this is not only used by teachers. Let's say that you are peer reviewing your friend's essay. It may be easier for you to use these editing marks instead of just making long comments to say something that you could summarize very well with one of these proofreading marks. Okay, and the point is for you to point out, hey, this needs to be revised, and then the author should go ahead and revise it. Okay, so some editing marks include the ones that are shown in this table. I am going to post that picture on Remind because I think it's great to have as a reference. So what we have here is we have the symbol, then we have the meaning, then we have an example. So for the first one, these three lines mean that you need to capitalize that letter. For example, Lake Tahoe needs to be capitalized because that is not a common noun. Okay? All right, the next one is this slash. This is meant to make the letter lowercase. For example, students and bus, those are common nouns, and therefore they need to be lowercase. They cannot be capitalized. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, as I was saying, the third one says SB, which means there's been a spelling mistake. Okay, so that one, like I said before, instead of writing there is a spelling error in this sentence, right above the word that is misspelled, you just write SP and a dot, and that should be enough. For example, it says the day was cloudy and cold. This is not how cloudy is supposed to be spelled. Okay? This symbol means to add a period. For example, we have a complete sentence here that doesn't have a period, so we just write this dot with a circle. This squiggly line means to delete or remove. For example, here we have the word the repeated, so we are indicating to the author that they need to remove that repetition. This upwards arrow means add a word. So for example, I want to say 6 pups were in the litter instead of saying 6 were in the litter. So I write this, and then I write over here the word that I think should be added. This one is very similar, but it has a comma. It's basically the same. All of these arrows are going to mean insertion. So here you insert a word, here you insert a comma. This line over here is to reverse words or letters. So for example, I would like this word to go before bed, in the kelp bed. So I write this here. Here we have another one of those arrows that means insertion, but it's backwards because this one is a comma, this one is an apostrophe. That should be added to the word child. Okay, buddy, I'll be there in a second. That's added to the word child because we're talking about the bike which belongs to the child. Then we have quotation marks, again insertion. Then we have this symbol which means there needs to be a space added here. Then we have this symbol which means there should not be a space between these two words. And finally we have this symbol which means that we should begin a new paragraph starting right here. Okay? Alright, so let's practice it. Try to identify the error in each of these sentences. I'm going to give you a moment to try to do so. Okay, were you able to identify the errors? Let's see. Sentence number 1 says, Juan wanted to write a short story for the competition. If you said that the error is the word write, you were correct. That word is not spelled correctly because even though it sounds the same as write, as in writing a piece of paper, this word write, as in right or left, is it has a different meaning. So here, this is the symbol that would go. This is the editing mark that would be added. In the next example, it says, Roxana needs the store's phone number. If you said that the word that needed to be fixed was the word needs, you would be correct. The word needs is a verb. It is not a proper noun, and therefore it should not be capitalized. So do you remember which symbol should go here? This symbol. This symbol means you need to make this letter lowercase instead of capitalized. Example number 3 says, the girl's phone was stolen yesterday. If we're talking about a phone that belongs to the girl, then what we're missing here is an apostrophe to show belonging. Number 4, Puerto Rico is a beautiful island. If you said that little P in Puerto Rico needs to be capitalized, it would be correct. And this is the symbol that would be added. And finally, I enjoy eating ice cream a lot. Did you find the error here? It's actually at the end. A lot should be 2 separate words. Oh, I forgot to mention that the A here was repeated and should be deleted. And here, this needs to have a space between the letter A and the word lot. Now, this is the activity that you are going to be doing. You are going to find the errors in this paragraph. I want you to write down the paragraph, find all of the errors, and identify them using the editing marks that we've just discussed. I will post this paragraph on Remind, so make sure that you send me a picture once you finish. Make sure you send me a picture once you finish. Okay? Best of luck to everybody. If you have any questions, remember that I will be on Remind from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thank you, everybody.